Good evening and welcome to the RSEQ men's volleyball action. I'm Ilya Kurbanov. Alongside me is Craig Thurkilton, live from Dalplex for this evening's match featuring the Sherbrooke Orr and your Dalhousie Tigers. The Dal Tigers, who've started the season struggling a little bit, dropping 4 games, 2 here at home, 3-2 in both games actually against Rouge Or from Laval in Quebec City, and then last week going to Montreal and dropping 2 games down there. It certainly has been a rough start, but you know the Tigers are looking to find their way into this season and hopefully get one win, their first win tonight. Whereas Sherbrooke are obviously on a good note from last year's Nationals, beginning the season 2-1, dropping a game, then winning 2 games against Laval and Montreal, dropping them 3-0 in the local play. Now, Craig, you've been in this league for a couple of years. It's been certainly one of the challenging aspects facing these province of Quebec, teams. What's the biggest difference between, playing in the AUS competition and then moving into the RSEQ and facing these types of teams?
Yeah, the biggest difference, to be completely honest, is the physicality. With the way, obviously, the school system works in Quebec, they have the CEGEP program, so their first years are coming in at around 20, 21 years old, so they do have a little bit of that physicality advantage, and you can see it with some of the guys here for the Verde Or. They have some big boys who are in very, very good shape, and they've been able to refine their bodies and work on well. But they're also, all the Quebec teams, very well disciplined and just very skilled volleyball players as well. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup here for the Tigers. Obviously, the Tigers, a young group. Verde Or, pretty much the same team than last year. They graduated a second-team All-Canadian middle in Raphael Viens, and they've replaced him with, in the starting lineup, Elliot Collard, who's a second-year middle here for the Verde Or. So that's about the only major loss they had on their roster coming into this year. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can carry over that success from last year. Obviously, they're going to look back to get back to that U-Sport National Championship. They want another RESQ victory, and they want to show that they are the best team in the RESQ and one of, if not the best team in the country.
And now, we know Tigers, still a young team, but Michael Donovan certainly being the anchor of that squad, being in the top with 3.58 kills per set, being that guy that obviously Coach Oda and the rest of the squad relies on. What do you think will be the X factor for the Tigers to actually steal this game here?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing, obviously, Sherbrooke, a very big team, solid at the net, they're well disciplined. Dalhousie is going to have to serve very, very well. You want to put that pressure on them. One of their biggest attacking points is through the middle with number 10, Julien Vanier. Smaller guy out of the middle, 6'3", but probably has over a 40-inch vertical. And when he gets a hold of a ball, he can absolutely put it through the floor. So if they can keep the server pressure tough, make it hard on Jonathan Portalance, the setter here for the Sherbrooke Verde Or, get him out of position, get a lot of out-of-system stuff. That's where the Tigers are going to see success.
And the Tigers looking for their first win in this season, and it will certainly be great to steal it here from the red hot Verde Or, who have taken the game away from the Carabin University of Montreal with a sweep of 3-0, and now that Elliot Collard that you spoke of will start this game for Verde Or on the service line. Tran will dig it out there, and now the Tigers immediately try to strike, but around the net, number 6, Johan David, will get the first kill and the first point of this game as Quentin Dowling was trying to set up down the middle for Conan Oldriff, but that hasn't worked out. That would have been Donovan, excuse me. Now Collard, Tran to Dowling. Dowling will go up and set up Justin Cross for the kill. Excuse me, that would have been Josh DeYoung on the outside for a kill.
Yeah, nice kill there from DeYoung. A little bit of miscommunication, I think, on the timing there between Dowling and DeYoung. Set was a little high. DeYoung, really good vertical, really good jumper. Hangs in the air for a little bit there and sneaks that through the back door in that 5-6 seam.
Now number 7 on the attack, Moisen. And now Donovan looks to tip. Sidhu will get to Donovan, and that will go off the blockers, and Tigers will get the point.
It's a great rally there for the Tigers. Want to mention, shout out, Sartaj Sidhu, the middle for the Tigers, serving out of the back row with an absolutely awesome dig there to keep that rally alive for the Tigers, and they're able to transition that into a point.
Now Sidhu dug out by Hollins, and now at the net, number 10, Vanier. But De Jong will go off the blockers. Now Kutz will get number 6, David, on the attack. And looks like the point will go the way of Tigers.
Looks like David, after the attack there, I think he either landed under the net or he was on the net. So a violation there from the Verrier. And a freebie here for the Tigers, and a great start. 3-1 here early in the first.
Sidhu back at the service net. And David once more, this time Cross is diving to keep that one alive, but the power on the attack gets the kill for David and Verrier.
David is a really good spin serve. Remember from last year, he gave us some serious trouble, so he's going to be looking to bring that into this match.
Now Cross will dig it up. Dowling finds Donovan. Donovan looks to tip it, but the blockers were ready and got that one out of the way.
Yeah, a little bit of an inside set there, and it wasn't super high either, so Donovan kind of had to rush in there. Wasn't able to get under it or put a good swing on it. Tries to tip that into the block, but unfortunately cannot get the recycle for the Tigers.
Now David once more. De Jong this time. Dowling to Cross. Cross will try to look for the open space, but goes out of bounds on the attack. Now Yohan David staying at the service line for Verrier. Gets that one through. Donovan is on the reception. Now Dowling to Donovan, and rejected there by Portelans. Perfect timing on the block.
Yeah, awesome block there from Jonathan Portelans. A little bit of a nice matchup there between him and Donovan. Both played for the junior national team for Canada this summer, so very familiar with one another. So going to be a little bit of a friendly rivalry going on in today's match.
Oh, David still with it. De Jong. And now Donovan this time off the blockers. Going for the payback there against Portelans on this one. Quentin Dowling will go back to serve for the Tigers.
A little bit of a communication going on between the down ref and the scorer's table. Just looking to figure something out. I don't know if it's a rotation error or probably just something in the scoring system they're looking to get situated.
And as we have some time, if you want some more Tiger action, the volleyball teams will return to the court tomorrow for their second doubleheader of this weekend. All the action gets started at 12:30 p.m. on the RSEQ and will be followed on AOS TV by the Ladies Tiger squad, who will be hosting the Memorial Seahawks as part of their 3-day weekend rally here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The two teams have a little breather, a little break. There's confusion around the board.
Yeah, it looks like that down ref has a lineup sheet in his hands. I'm not sure. It'd be very surprising if one of these teams was already out of rotation. That's a pretty impressive feat, being only 9 points into the game total. But looking to get something situated. I don't know if a lineup was maybe entered wrong or likely something along those lines. So just seems to be a clerical error we're looking to get figured out here, and we're looking to get you guys back into some volleyball action.
And for those who are watching at home, could there be any sort of penalty for that type of situation?
If a team's out of rotation and the ref catches them, it's going to be a 1 point penalty and point to the other team, but it looks like there's no issues. Probably just something on the score table side of things they were looking to get situated. But yeah, if you do get caught out of rotation during the point, the ref's going to situate your team, make sure you're back where you should be, and then that's going to be a point automatically for the other team.
And now Dowling will finally get to serve there. That was received by Moisen. And now Moisen will go to kill that, but gets blocked. And the Tigers tie the game at 5 apiece.
Yeah, really nice short serve there from Quentin Dowling. He picks Zachary Moisen, the left side there for the Verde Or, has to come in short to pass that ball, so they can get a heavy commit on their best hitter in the front row right now, in the middle, Julien Vanier, and tries to make the choice to go back out to left, and it does not work out.
Moisen, and this one for Vanier. Dowling will go for Donovan. 3 blockers sent for that. Dowling once again will go to Donovan, this time against 2. Number 5. Hollins will go for the kill. Verrior, who is the second leading killer, if not first, with 2.58 on the season so far per set. Number 7, Zachary Moisen will now serve for Verrior. Tran will dig it out. Dowling setting up De Jong on the attack. He will get the kill.
Yeah, really nice set there from Dowling. Great tempo, great connection between him and De Jong. A nice fake there from Conan Oldriv. Gets Vanier up in the air for a nice one-on-one between De Jong and Portalance, and De Jong puts it away.
Now Michael Donovan. Strong serve. What a reception by Coots. Now Dowling scratches that one up. De Jong goes against 3 blockers. That stays in. But what a hustle play by Dowling to try to keep that one alive.
Yeah, tough one there for the Tigers. De Jong took a high swing, just landed in the back end of the court. You can't be too mad at that. Wasn't a terrible swing. Got a nice bounce off the block, but just couldn't get it far enough to get out the back.
Now Vanier goes to cross. Donovan now, that would be Colin Oldriv for his first kill of the game down the middle.
A little bit of a soft shot there from Condon Oldred, and then catches Johan David playing defense and one a little bit off guard. That ball floats right over his head into that back corner for the Tigers.
Now Condon Oldriv will serve for the Tigers. And it's in. Verrior were convinced that that one was going out, but the point will go for the Tigers as Condon Oldriv gets an ace on the serve.
Yeah, one thing to mention for the rookie, Condon Oldriv, as a middle, been really strong from the service line so far this year. Hits that float serve from a really high point, and he's been able to get some good action on that serve. But right there, Portalance with a really smart play. Realizes that Condon Oldriv is back there in position 5 on defense. That pass gets pushed a little bit, so he has that setter dump wide open. As big middle like Condon Oldriv, you're not typically expecting him to dig something like that.
Now Portalance will go into the net on the serve. After an amazing play previously, getting that serve to Verrior, will go for an error, and now Josh De Jong will go and have a chance for the Tigers, received by Hollins. Now this time around, Collard will go on the attack down the middle, and Donovan is trying to save and keep the ball alive, but that goes far and out.
Got a whole big fan section coming in for the Verde Or. I don't know exactly where these fans would be coming from, if they commuted all the way from Sherbrooke, but some nice support here in the crowd for the Verde Or here at the Dowplex.
Tran will dig it out, and now Cross will go against the blockers, and the point will go the way of Verrior, and I believe this could be very well be the squad for the tomorrow's meet for the cross-country U Sports Nationals that are hosted by yours Dalhousie Tigers. Now Hollins will be back to that serve line and diving there. Tran unable to keep it alive, and the lead is now extended to 2.
Yeah, really impressive serve there from Zachary Hollins. You see he tosses that spin serve up and hits it goes up like he's going to hit it really hard, and then really slows his arm down and slows that pace to hit that little bit of a roll shot and completely catches the Tigers off guard for the ace.
Jackham was trying to go against the blockers, will be a little close to the net, and the line violation will be called against them. Now Coach Oda calls a timeout to talk things through. It was a good start here by the Tigers, but now Verrior finding their way to chip away slowly but surely what the Tigers need to do in order to stay in this game.
Yeah, it was a couple good serves there for the Verrior. That's why they got a couple points and got ahead. They were able to put the Tigers under pressure, and the serve receive was not putting setter Quentin Dowling in a really advantageous position to put up a good ball. So the one where Cross got blocked, Dowling is pushed back. It's a little bit of an underset, and Cross isn't able to get a good swing on it there. And then they try to go through to Dujeckum in the middle. It looks like there's a little bit of a misconnection, and those are 2 quick points there for the Verrior. So it's just ironing out little mistakes like that. It's been a competitive game so far here. Sherbrooke stretched the lead to 3, which is the biggest of the match so far. Tigers need to pass well on serve receive and run their offense. They've been successful when they're doing that, but when they can't get good passes up, then this is where they're going to struggle, especially against a team like Sherbrooke, where you're going to see that consistent serving pressure coming from guys like Yohan David with a great spin serve, and Zachary Hollins, who has the ability to hit that float serve or that spin serve, mix it up, short, hard. So it's a lot of pressure here for these Tigers passers, especially for a guy like Owen Tran for the Tigers. First-year libero, really getting used to playing at this level in this competition. He looked really good in their first match at home against Laval, and he's obviously struggled a bit in that first pass there, but looking to bounce back.
Now Hollins, coming out of that timeout, will make a mistake on a serve. The Tigers will get the ball back as the ball went straight into the net. Now Justin Cross will have a chance for the Tigers to cut that lead down to even more. Cross will go up. Now Moisen will save it up, and now Moisen will probably, actually Coots will be forced to pass it over. And off the blockers, there goes De Jong, as Dowling was able to time it and serve it perfectly for a clean kill.
Yeah, I was talking to Cross today. He's actually my roommate. He told me he was going with the spin serve full time for this match today. He mixed it up between the float and the spin against Laval, but feels that spin serve is going to give them the best advantage against this Verrior team. Obviously, doesn't work out well there for the miss, but he's going to be sticking with that spin serve, and he told me he's going to be going at it today.
Now Elliot Collard, number 8 for Verrior at that service line. Gets it right over. Tran will dig it out. Dowling will now get De Jong in, and the ball from this angle looked in, but from the angle of the linesman was out.
Yeah, nice run there from the Tigers. It's a good set by Dowling. De Jong got a very solid swing on it, just seeks right out the back of the court. So if you're the Tigers, you can't be too mad at that. Obviously, you'd like the point, but it was a good play. Unlucky, and you got to move on to the next one.
Tran once more. Now Dowling will go to Donovan, and that will be dug up by Portalance. And now Zachary Moisen is trying to save the ball. Probably could have just got it over, but went for the attack and got the net.
Yeah, in a play like that, it's not really advantageous to try and take a big swing or do something like a hero play. Realistically, for the Verrior, after a good dig like that, they're going to want to put that ball in the court and just get things back in play.
But now Julian Vanier on the bounce back will get the kill in the middle, as it was a perfectly set up by Portalance and not leaving Tigers any room to breathe for a point to the Sherbrooke squad. Now David, once again, dug up by Donovan. Dowling now will set up Donovan. He'll go off the blockers, and that will stay in, and a point goes the way of Verrior once more.
Yeah, it's a tough rotation here for the Tigers. On a serve like that and that high pass in the middle, basically everyone in the Verrior knows that ball's going over to Donovan. So they have a great two-man block between Vanier and Portalance. They put it up, and they shut Donovan down on that play.
Oh, David once more. Dug out by De Jong. This time Donovan against 3 blockers, but this time whiffs it off, and the ball will go out of bounds for a point to the Tigers.
Yeah, great swing there from Donovan. Recognized he had the triple blockers, so takes that really hard flat swing, sends that ball flying out the opposite side of the court for the easy tool on the Tigers' point.
Now Dowling will get it through. Portalance to David. Coots. And now Portalance. Everyone expected a set, but he went for the kill. And another point going the way of Verrior.
Yeah, Portland's a very versatile player for the Varior out of the setter position. Plays a lot of beach volleyball in his summers. Obviously some experience with the junior national team. Very high-level player, and he can make plays like that.
Dowling sets up De Jong for a kill off the blockers. The ball would go in and out of bounds.
That's a tough set there by Dowling. Was getting pushed back, jumps up, muscles that ball out to left side for the one-on-one. The Varior weren't expecting it, and De Jong's able to capitalize with the kill.
Donovan gets it up and out of bounds. The power is there, and the angle is too, but not the accuracy. And now the 4-point swing is going the way of Varior as they start chip away that first set in their favor. Vanier, that one dug up by Cross. Now De Jong will find Donovan in the middle, and that will go off the hands of Vanier and out of play for a point for the Tigers.
Yeah, nice scramble play for the Tigers. Good decision by De Jong to just toss that up for Donovan on the pipe ball. Puts an easy roll shot over, but a miscommunication, as you said, between Vanier and the 6-back defender, which would be Zachary Mosian, and easy point for the Tigers.
Condon Aldriv dug out by Hollins. Now Hollins will go for the kill on the attack, but that goes the way of the Tigers as the ball whiffs too far out.
Tigers close the gap to 2 here with Condon Aldriv back to serve.
Condon Aldriv gets it, and looks like there was a line violation as well on the serve, not let alone the serve going through. And back to the service line. Portalance will go for Varior. Tran, Dowling. Cross on the tip. Now David, dug up by Donovan. This time De Jong. And Dowling is going for the attack. And through the blockers goes number 6, Johan David, for a kill.
Yeah, really nice set there from Portalance. Recognizes that Ejecum staying with the middle and respecting the middle presence. Throws that back to Johan David with the one-on-one, and he buries it for the Varior.
And a short serve there by Portalance, finding the empty space, getting the point, and the service ace for Varior. A strong start, another timeout called by Coach Oda as they look to find their way back into this first set. Now they are being down 5, 21-16.
Yeah, a couple really nice short serves on the spins from the Varior. One coming from Hollins and the other coming from Portalance. And both times just caught the Tigers off guard. It's led to 2 aces. So it's something the Tigers need to be aware of, especially when they have those spin servers up there. You really have to track that arm carefully because that arm's going to give you all the information you need. If you see him loading up and you see him taking that full swing, then you know for sure that ball's coming at you. But at that last second, if he's hitting that slow spin, or that short spin, sorry, you're going to have to take that time, realize that arm angle, and then make your move to go forward. So you can't get beat on those short ones. As you said, they had it within a 2-point game, and that's a quick 3-point swing to separate the lead to 5 for the Varior. And they have a commanding lead at 21-16 here, closing out this first set.
Now, Portalance will go back to the service line and look to continue the streak for Varior. The fans are loud. Let's see if it helps. Portalance dug out by Donovan. Now Dowling will set up cross. He will go against 3 blockers. And looks like Johan David had a scary fall around in there. Hopefully he's okay, but a substitution is set to be coming in. Jeremy Doyon will be checking in for David. Let's hope there's nothing serious for the Varior player on that play.
Yeah, it just came down a little weird on it. Looked like he may have rolled it as well, so tough go on that triple block there. Looks like he may have made some contact below the net with Cross, so They have a capable hitter. He's a lefty here for the Verde Or, number 11, Jeremy Doyon. So looking to come in and make an impact off the bench.
Dowling sets up cross. That was dug up by Portlands. Now number 11, Doyon, tries to go through the blockers. Tran saves it. Now Donovan sets up cross. He will tip it just over. Now this time around, Zachary Hollins makes the Tigers pay for an empty one.
Yeah, nice connection there between Portlands and Hollins. Hollins comes in, makes that dig on the inside of the court, and I think they audible a little bit of an inside set there. Catches the Tigers off guard, and when you get Hollins up there in the air, he can fly.
Portlands looks for the empty space. Cross saves it. Now DeYoung forces it over. Portlands, Coots, he will set up Hollins again. And Dowling is diving, sliding, trying to kick the ball up and in the air to save it, but set point incoming for Verde Or, and Portlands staying strong at that service line. And it's out of bounds. Verde Or were confident in that one, getting the set point.
Yeah, it was a good start to the first set for the Tigers. Obviously down 24-17 now, so looking to gain some momentum here, potentially not string a couple points together, but tough first set. I mean, they played it really tight for the whole first half. They had the game at 18-16, and then you saw the game finished at, 25-17, so that's a 7-1 run where the Tigers are only able to get 1 point. Obviously, the Verde Or, Portlands at the service line is able to string together a bunch of good points for them, but that kind of tells the tale for what the Tigers need to do. They know they can play with this team, but when they let them go on runs, either those couple-point swings or even a 7-point swing like that, against a team this good, you can't have swings like that and expect to have success.
And now the Tigers dropping a first set at home here in Dalplex and Halifax, Nova Scotia, as it goes to the visiting squad, 25-17, and like you mentioned, it was a strong start for the Tigers, but a game of runs we saw in a game of two different tales where the Tigers were having stretches where they were competing and towards the end giving up that 7-1 run did not help them and did not help the situation. At this time, Dalhousie University Department of Athletics would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support: the 101.3 Virgin Radio, Tony's Famous Pizza, and Dalhousie Food Services. Looking at the Tigers, you mentioned they've put up a good fight in the beginning, found ways to put points up into the game. How much of an impact has it been for the Tigers on the receiving end of the serve?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what killed them towards the end of that set. Started the set, they were passing really well, and then David heated up a little bit from the service line. Portlands had a couple good serves as well. So they were able to really kind of turn things up in the service line, and that's what killed the Tigers at the end of that first set. So if they can lock in on their passing, make sure their platforms are good. Obviously, it's really difficult when you have a team like this who has a bunch of really good spin servers. Even Vanier as well, coming out of the middle. He's got a great spin serve. So Sherbrooke's a team that can put a lot of pressure on you from the service line. So if the Tigers can work to control that, then it's going to give them a lot more of a chance to get a win in this game.
Tigers down 1-0 in this game so far. In the second half of the doubleheader, the first one, the ladies secured a win against the visiting Memorial Seahawks from Newfoundland. This time around, the men's Tigers are facing the visiting Verde Or from Sherbrooke University in their RSEQ two-day matchup. They'll be facing them here again tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. But what they're looking for today is to get their first win in this RSEQ 2022-2023 season, as they finished their season last year with 2 wins and 9 losses and 8 wins and 4 losses for the visiting squad, showing out well at the national stage as well. Now the Tigers, with their young core group of guys alongside some tough competitors like Donovan, Dowling, and the rest of the squad looking to get their feet into the promised land of the playoff play. Let's see what they can do in the second set. Sidhu, who started the first set on the service line, will start it once more here in the second. Sidhu, dug up by Coots. Now Portalance will set up number 10. Julian Vanier, the ball flies into the canteen on that spike to get the kill.
That was a super spike there from Vanier. As I said at the start of this match, when he connects on one, arguably could be the hardest hitter in the country out of the middle position. He can absolutely slam the ball.
Dowling looks there to tip it immediately, but now off the blockers, Donovan will get the point. But what a setup there by De Jong, recognizing where Donovan is and sending the ball that way.
Very nice play here for the Tigers. Knots them up at 1-1 to start this second set. We got Dowling back to serve. He's been usually going to that short float serve, so we'll see if he mixes it up a little bit here.
Now Coots, Portalance. Now this time finding once again Julian Vanier down in the middle for a kill.
Yeah, very nice swing there from Vanier. Nice setup by Portalance. Donovan, rightfully so, kind of jumping with Portalance, making sure he doesn't have that setter dump as an option, but Condon Oldrive's up a little bit late, and Vanier capitalizes.
Now Dowling finds Condon Oldrive down the middle. Kutz will dig it out, but this time off the blockers will go Zachary Hollins, and he will get a kill as the ball whiffs out of bounds. Zachary Moisen will be serving. Gets it over Tran. Now Dowling finds Donovan. This stays alive, but into the net on 2 touches. The point goes to Verrior, and it's a 1-4 lead early on.
Yeah, nice read there from Vanier out of the middle. Recognizes that Donovan makes a good pass. They're probably going to run him in that situation. They're able to get 2 blockers on it and shut it down.
Oh, short serve. Dug up by Condon Oldrive, but then Quentin Dowling finds De Jong for a kill.
Very nice play there for the Tigers. A weird short serve. Condon Oldrive is able to make a really good pass on it, actually, out of the middle. And De Jong buries that ball from Dowling.
Donovan. Gets it over. Coots will dig it up. Now Portalance finds Hollins. Hollins will get another kill. Finds the angle and the power.
Got Vanier back to serve here for the Verrior. Talked about it between sets. Really, really good spin serve out of him. And as I said, one of the hardest hitters in the country. The spin serve is also extremely hard.
And as we speak of power and strength, a little too much on the serve, and that will be going out of bounds. As Tigers will send Condon Oldrive to serve as they cut the lead down to 2 points. 5-3 early on in the second set. Condon Oldrive goes up, and that goes out of bounds. Well communicated there by Verrior.
Yeah, it looked like he may have tossed it a little bit high and hit that on the way down. So a little bit of an inconsistent toss there can lead to some inconsistent results. So tough one there for Oldrive.
Now Portalance had a good stretch in the first set. Tran will dig it up. Now Dowling will go to cross, and he will go off the blockers and get the point for the home squad.
Yeah, it's a really impressive swing there by Cross. Dowling did his best to get that ball out as far as he could while being pushed back. Cross realized he got 2 blockers, takes a really high and hard swing and skips that right off the hands and out the back.
De Jong goes on Hollins. Hollins now, not sure. Looks like it was
just slipped
inside
through the block, I believe, of Cross. It was a weird one. I'm agreeing with you. I thought there may have been a block there for the Tigers, but Hollins hits out a little bit off speed, not super hard. I think catches Cross on the way down off the net, and that slips through for a point for the Verrior.
Now Hollins on the serve. Donovan will dig it out. Dowling will find De Jong. De Jong will whip it off the block of Moisen, and now will go out for a point of the Tigers.
Yeah, really nice swing there by De Jong. Sets a little bit inside, but takes that angle, goes right off the outside hand of the blocker for Verrier, and uses that block to his advantage for the tool on the point.
Cross goes out on the serve, and another service error for the Tigers as they struggle early on. From the service line, we have Elliot Collard to go and serve for the visiting squad. Gets it through. Donovan is there. Now Dowling will go to Jackham, and he'll get the kill down the middle with no hesitation.
Yeah, I think Jackham could end up playing a huge role in this match. We've seen so far the Tigers have had a lot of success from their outsides, but they haven't been running their middles much. And against a team like Sherbrooke with two really good middle blockers, you have to establish that middle presence to make sure they aren't cheating.
Now Portalance will go for Elliott. Now Donovan through three blockers. Portalance will save it. And Collard will go up. And that will go for the Tigers. The angle once more on this one, like the previous attack on Zachary Hollins. Slightly off. Coots and to Portalance. And Portalance will find Vania in the middle, but Vania will not be able to find the court as he sends it out of bounds, and it's a tie game at 8 apiece.
Yeah, a couple bad mistakes there for the Verrier, just mistakes that they could honestly control on their side of just making sure those balls go in the court, but Tigers going to take advantage and capitalize by tying the game.
Now Portalance will find Moisen. That will be dug up by De Jong. Dowling is perfect once more, making the read on that tip. The blocker was ready, but slightly late.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of weight room work there potentially from Quinn Dowling. Obviously the blocker's up and he's ready and he's got that block there, but Dowling just shoves it straight through.
Coots now, Portalance. Ooh, and the kill goes the way of David. Z looks to be fine after that collision in the first set. Gets that kill, and the rally continues as both teams trade points with one another. Now David will serve. Dug up by Donovan. Dowling will set up cross. He will go for a tip. Now Portalance. And David this time going for a tip. Dowling will be able to get to it. Now Donovan through three blockers again. And that will be in the Tigers' territory as unable to go through it there, Donovan.
Yeah, they tried to get cross on the D ball right there. You see the way the Tigers are set up. It's a four-man serve receive. A lot of respect they're showing here for Johan David from the service line. Got a great spin serve, so they're showing him the respect of bringing in four passers.
Tran will dig it out. Now Donovan this time against two blockers finds David and sends the ball into him to get the kill and the point. Dowling now will be serving for the Tigers. Coots, Portalance. He'll go down the middle for once again Julian Vanier. As you mentioned, one of the best mids in the game.
Yeah, it was a good read there from the Tigers. Donovan was able to get up. Condon Oldrew was ready for it too, but I think Donovan's hands may have been a tad bit late. With the speed of Vanier's arms, he's able to slip that through.
Dowling will find De Jong this time, and he will once more utilize the blocker to get the kill and the point.
Nice set there by Dowling. You can see he takes a quick look to see what that middle blocker's doing. Sees he's set, sees he's sitting there, swings that out to the left side, and a great swing by De Jong using that block to his advantage.
Donovan sends it into the net.
It's been a couple misses for Donovan. It looks like he's either tossing it a little bit inside, and you can see him turning his body in and almost having to overcompensate on the serve. He usually has that nice smooth path where you can go one-to-one. Much easier as a spin server coming from there, so we'll look to see if he makes that adjustment.
Out of bounds goes on this one, Julian Vanier, as the back and forth continues in this matchup between the Dalhousie Tigers and Sherbrooke Verrior. And Condon Oldriv will be sent to the line to serve for the Tigers. Gets it through, dug up by Coots. Portalance will go for Zachary Hollins. He will go off the net and out of bounds. And Condon Oldriv will stay at the line for the Tigers.
Got some very good resiliency here in this second set from the Tigers, starting the set down 4-1, now up 13-12 and looking to extend that lead.
Portalance going back to Hollins, and this time around, DeYoung is there to block, but Hollins sends it off his hands and out.
Yeah, very nice high swing by Zachary Hollins. They now have Portalance back to serve, the setter for the Verrior. Had a couple nice spin serves so far, mixed in that short one, so the Tigers got to be ready for anything here. They know he's got a very versatile serve.
Tran is there. Dowling will set up cross. That will go off the blockers and in the Tigers' territory. Another point going to Verrior as Collard will get the block. Has the height and the size.
Yeah, an interesting
for that
choice
squad
on that matchup going over to Cross, just because he's going up against Collard and you're going up against David, which is arguably the two best blockers here for the Verrior. So I think Dowling's going to start favoring that matchup with DeYoung and Hollins, but unfortunately there, it looks like DeYoung on the landing after that hit may have been under the net. So good call there from the ref, and it's a freebie there for the Verrior.
And that's a three-point swing the way of Verrior, and that's what we saw last set and forced Coach Oda to call a timeout here. You know, we've seen a different game here by the Tigers to start the second set. It's been a lot of back and forth, but they're showing a lot more resiliency and a lot of good things. What is impressing you so far in this second set comparatively to the first?
Well, honestly, this looks pretty similar to the start of that first set, right? Because we were knotted up at about, what, 16-16, and then Sherbrooke extended it to 18-16. So they're doing what they were at the start of that first set. They're playing well, they're passing well, they're siding out well. I think a couple poor decisions here and there have cost them some points, so that's why you see that 2-point spread. But they're capable of playing with these teams. It's just stringing it together consistently and making sure that appears throughout the match. When they have a mental lapse like they did at the end of that first set and they let Sherbrooke string together 7 points, that's the result you're going to see. So they need to keep their focus, keep doing what they're doing, and making sure they can stay siding out at a high rate.
Now, the block situation in this game so far is 8-1 for the Verrior, and you know, it's fairly obvious and seen with the naked eye pretty much when when Verrior sent 3 blockers to get to Donovan, 2 blockers to everybody else on the Tiger squad. And the defensive end is certainly has been paying off for the visiting squad.
Yeah, this kind of falls on Quinn Dowling. Obviously, he's got to realize they've been able to get some good blocks up there on them. They may be starting to figure out the offense a little bit, maybe mix things up, try some different things in different rotations. Sherbrooke may be getting used to some tendencies, so it's on him as the veteran leader setter that he is for the Tigers to make sure his guys are in the best position possible to score points here.
And there was another discussion there between the referee squad in the game and the Tigers bench. And looks like there's been a warning issue to the bench of the Tigers side, stepping onto the floor a little too far. So Coach Oda made the decision to send the non-dress players directly to the bleachers without hesitation, as every point counts in this matchup. So Portalance will be serving for Verrior once more. Donovan is there on the receiving end now. Dowling will go to DeYoung. He will go off the blockers once more. Dug out by Coots. Now this time, Elliot Collard, but that was dug up and then blocked by Johan David and Collard, who were both there. and ready to receive it.
Yeah, great dig there by Tran on the pancake. They're able to get that ball up to Cross, but Cross just a low swing into the block, so not a very high percentage chance shot. Got to mix things up, keep swinging high. That's where he's seen success so far this match.
And now there's miscommunication by DeYoung and Tran as an error committed there and lead extending to 4, 13-17. Portlands received there by Cross, and looks like there's a line violation, I believe, called against Johan David. He couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's an interesting one there for the Verteur because Dowling's looking to make a play on that ball, and if he reaches over at all and puts his hand on that and it's not coming over to his side, then that's an automatic violation. I think that's what the ref saw right there.
Now, that would have been David, who was blocked. Now, Edgecam will go down the middle, dug up by Coots, and now Donovan will keep it alive. Dowling will set up Cross. Cross will have to be forced to go over, and Coots saves it and keeps it alive. And this one looks like there's no touch on the attack by David. And the point will go the way of Tigers. Is a long rally.
Yeah, great rally there. Great digs from both sides. Verrier were looking for a double call there on Dowling. Didn't get it, and the Tigers are able to finish off the rally with an error from the Verrier.
Now Hollins this time finds the sweet spot between Edgecam and Cross as they both go up, try to get that block. But the ball will go through and send Hollins now to the service line for Verrier. Gets it up, dug up by Cross. Dowling will go back to Cross. He will go through the blockers once more as Collard and David both collapse at the net and track that ball. And another timeout by Coach Oda as they kind of finally found ways to get some points and immediately forcing the issue and getting rejected around the net.
Yeah, it really just comes down to these little runs. Like, they're right there in the game. They get it to 15-13, and then, boom, they go on a three-point run, and then it becomes 18-13. They go on a two-point run, bring it back to 18-15, and then they're down 4. So it's tough for the Tigers when you give good teams like this these 3-4-point runs in the middle of sets. It's really, really detrimental because it's hard to make these 4 or 5-point comebacks, especially this late in the game. So the Tigers are really going to have to buckle down here if they want a chance in the second set.
Want to bring your team or a group to a Tigers game? Go to our website and fill out Name Your Game form, and you can come to a Tigers game for free. Tigers are trailing 19-15 in the second set. They have dropped the first one, and they're looking to bounce back after this timeout called by Coach Oda. You can see some frustration in the huddle as he wants his squad to do better around the net, as the Tigers look to clinch their first victory of the season. And you see the visiting squad, Verrier, I believe, have a team who will be partaking tomorrow at the meet and cross-country national championship, cheering on their squad. But now Hollins will serve and Tran will dig it up. Looks like that ball is forced to go over. Tran will dig it up again. And this time around, Cross is looking for the line but unable to locate it on the attack. Another point goes for Verrier.
Yeah, tough one so far for the Tigers. Cross looking a little out of sorts at the moment, so he's looking to bring things back. They're really going to need him here if they want to make a push and have a chance in this game versus the Verrier.
Now Hollins bails the Tigers out on that one, given a freebie and an opportunity for Cross to redeem himself at the service line. He'll get it through. Hollins will dig it up. Now Portlands will go off Donovan there, number 6, Johan David, who's been impressive at the net. And looks like there's a line violation on the attack as Johan David once more landed too close, giving Cross another opportunity to add up to that one. Hollins will dig that one out. Portalance will set up Collard for a kill down the middle off of Edgecam's hands. And it's 21-17. Elliot Collard will now serve. Gets it over. Tran is there to dig it out. Dowling sets up De Jong. Looks like there was no tip on the attack, and the point will go the way of the visiting squad.
Looked to be a little bit of a miss swing there from De Jong. Didn't get any topspin on it. Looks like he might have phased it a little bit, and that one just goes flying out of the back for the Tigers.
Now Collard once more. Now this time Donovan is there. Dowling will set up Donovan, and 2 blockers sent to Donovan as Collard and David track the ball and send it into the floor, extending that lead to 6 and keeping the momentum on their side. Collard gets it over and out for a point to the Tigers. Sidhu will check in for Edgecam, and Condon Aldrich will check in for Owen Tran. An opportunity for the Tigers to crawl their way back into this game. Coots will dig it out. Portalance goes for the back line of Zachary Hollins. He'll get a kill in the set point. Now for the Verrior, and number 6, Johan David, will serve for that point. Tran will dig it. And now Donovan, impressive spike off the hands and out.
Got a lot of power on that one from Donovan. Makes a really smart swing. Takes that high off the hands of the smaller blockers of Portalance and Vanier. Really takes advantage for a nice tool kill out the back.
Now Dowling gets it over. Coots will set up Portalance, and Portalance will catch the Tigers off guard for a set point. Another one will go to the visiting squad, 25-19, and it's a 2-0 lead on sets for Verrior, who look to be very confident in this game, attacking and applying pressure on the back line of the Tigers. But the Tigers not quitting. We've seen them in this situation many times before, and we expect them to fight back the way we know they can.
Yeah, tough one there for the Tigers. I mean, a little reminiscent of the way things went last set. That first half of the set, very competitive, very back and forth. It's a 2-point game. They're very much in it. And then as the end of that set rolls around, the separation gets greater. They put a few more points on the board, and then they extend their lead, and they don't really look back from there. And that's really the biggest thing when you're playing a good team like Sherbrooke Verrior. Obviously, bronze medalists at last year's national championships, one of the best teams in the country. You cannot give them freebies, and you cannot give them free points and free opportunities to further themselves within the game.
And if we look at the scoring situation, the block differential between the two squads, 11-1 for Verrior, obviously, and then the hit percentage is also .267 for the visiting squad, and a negative .20 there for the Tigers, .020. So it's not looking very good for the Tigers, as they do commit more mistakes. And going through the blockers, I feel like there's a lot of impatience on that Tigers side.
Yeah, it's just a lot of it is not great decision making. especially when you're going up against a block like that. If you're on that matchup and you're cross and you're going against Collard and you're going against Johan David, that swing cannot be low into the block, because anything low, those guys are big. You're looking at 6'6" and 6'7", both very athletic. That ball's going to get eaten up. If you're going up against those guys and you're swinging hard, you got to swing high off that block. Like, if you're going and you're trying to use those hands, you essentially have to be aiming out the back of the court with the way your swing path has to look like to take advantage of that block. So it's a tough matchup for Cross. That's, again, one of the biggest block combinations you're going to see in all of U Sport. So once again, I'll say it, tough matchup, but you got to find a way to succeed. And Cross is a very good player, a lot of experience here for the Tigers. He's a smart hitter as well, so he's got to find his matchups and take advantage here.
Now the Tigers, as we mentioned, have been in this situation before. Their last 2 home games, they've been down 2-0 and found their ways back into the game. So obviously, to get that first win is not going to be easy. The Sherbrooke squad came prepared, and obviously they're not looking to let this one go either. And the Adopt a Tiger program supports the Tigers in their pursuit of excellence as they balance the demands of being a varsity student athlete. Funds raised help ensure that the student experience is as superb as their commitment to represent our university. Visit given.dal.ca to adopt a Tiger today. And we'll have the third set on the go here shortly, as we're waiting on the Tigers to step onto the floor. These 2 squads will face each other tomorrow again here at Dalplex in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The game is set to start at 12:30 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. For those who are from town, don't forget to come in and support your Tigers in the doubleheader, as the ladies will be taken on the court right after the men's game as they play host once more to the Memorial Seahawks, visiting all the way from Newfoundland. And now back to the third set, and Collard will start on the serve. Dowling will go to Donovan. Donovan, no blockers, no tips. The ball will go out of bounds, and the first point in the third will go to Verrior.
Yeah, the Tigers are hoping for a touch there. It was a good high swing, but I guess just missed the block by a little bit. Linesman's got a great angle on that, makes the call, and point for the Verrior.
Now Collard, dug out by Cross. Dowling goes to Donovan this time around, uses the blocker and gets the point.
Nice setup there from Dowling. Gets their middle blocker in the air, the combination between Dowling and Sadu, and one-on-one for Donovan. He's expected to put that one away.
Now Sadu at the line. Coots will dig it up. Portlands will find Vania, and Vania once more in the middle will find the kill for Verrior. Vania, who's been 6 kills and 1 error so far this game. David, dug up by Tran. Now Donovan against Collard. Excuse me. Now Dowling looks to tip it up. Now Cross. Donovan tips it off 3 blockers. Portlands this time around. The rally continues. Dowling to Coots. And now finally Vania will end the rally with the kill. And very important game here by Vania. 7.700 hit percentage in the game. And out of bounds on this one, Yohan David will go. It's 2-3 for Verrior to start this third set. Dowling set to serve. Gets it up. A short one. Now Portlands thought he had someone, but the Tigers there were not ready for David to simply tip it and catch them off guard.
That's got to be a better read from libero and Tran for the Tigers. You can see that's an inside set. He puts that hand up really early to show that's a tip. So especially as that libero and you're that primary defender, you got to make an early decision to try and get in there for that tip. But a nice bounce back point from the Tigers. A great set to the outside from Dowling, and DeYoung capitalizes and puts it away.
DeYoung sends it through, and it looks like the Tigers have done really good so far against the one-on-one matchups, getting the points, and now Donovan has an opportunity. Dug up nicely there by Moisen, and now Hollins will keep it alive. Dowling will go to DeYoung once more, and this time off the blockers, he will go, and the point secured by Verrier. Julian Vanier will go back to that service line, trying to extend this lead. And announcer's curse comes in play, bailing the Tigers out. And the freebie will be going to the Tigers now. Sidhu will be checking out alongside Tram for Ejikam and Condon Aldriv. Coots will dig it up. Now Portalance will go to Collard this time in the middle. And the middle section has been the vital point that has been the kryptonite for the Tigers defense so far.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think the middle point has been one of the biggest advantages in this game. The Tigers really haven't seen any production out of the middle, especially compared to that home game they had against Laval. Whereas the production out of Sherbrooke's middle, Collard and especially Vanier, they've been, as I say it, they've been putting in work and they've been making a huge impact on this game. And the Tigers have not had an answer for either Collard or Vanier out of the middle for the Verrier.
And Verrier staying with it as Portalance gets a service ace, but Tigers were sure that it was going out of bounds, and it does not pay off.
Yeah, great serve there from Portalance. I think it just catches that back line. As you said, the Tigers kind of just stood there and watched it, so potentially hoping that one is out, but unfortunate for them.
Dowling will go to DeYoung. He will find an angle going through the blockers, sending it to the side, and Coots is there, but no chance for him to get to it.
Yeah, really nice swing there by DeYoung. Really, you can see him contort and turn his body in air to take that shot down the line. And the Verrier were not ready for it.
Oh, Portalance going back to the middle, and this time off the blockers will Elliot Collard send that ball out of bounds and earn another point. Now Zachary Hollins gets it into the net, and a service error by the Verrier. Justin Cross will get it right over. Hollins will dig it up. Portalance will go to the left for Moisen to get the kill off the blockers.
A nice swing there from Moisen. Hasn't really been involved too much in the offense today. He's typically a stability guy for the Verrier. He can pass pretty well, play some good defense, but he's not a primary offensive option. So when he can get some kills out of here, that's a great sign for the Verrier.
Elliot Collard. Verrier up 10-6 in the third here. Whiffs off the net. Dowling to Cross. That was dug up by Portalance, and the loose ball up high. You do not set up Vanier with opportunities like that, as he makes you pay once more.
Yeah, nobody on the Tiger side was really expecting the second ball swing from Vanier, but it's tight, it's close to the net, and as an athletic, dynamic middle like he is, that's an easy swing for him. So the Tigers really have to be ready there and be a little bit more locked in to try and get a block up there.
Collard this time around will get into the net and give the Tigers some breathing room. There's Edgecam now. Jeckham, sorry, goes to the service line, gets it over Coots. Now Potterlands makes no mistake, finds the hot hand, and once more Vanier makes the Tigers pay. And extending that lead to 5, 12-7 in the third. At the midway mark of this third set. David. Now Dowling will find Donovan, who will go off the blockers of Potterlands and Vanier to earn a point. Dowling has an opportunity to cut us even more. Gets it over Coots. Now Potterlands, this time finding Elliott, dug up by Chan, but over to the Sherbrooke side and out the ball goes.
Yeah, I think we harped on it a little bit earlier in this set, but that middle matchup, Vanier has been killing the Tigers all night so far, and that is not looking to be stopped.
Now Coots, and once more, they do not hesitate, setting up Vanier in the middle, and adjustments need to be made as Coach Oda does call a timeout, and the Varior extend their lead to 6, 14-8. No answers have been found against Vanier in the middle, and I don't know if Tigers could at this point.
Yeah, I think Portalance has kind of found the little cheat code, and he's just going to keep going back to it until the Tigers stop it. Vanier has been unstoppable. I'm not sure we have the numbers for you guys, but hitting percentage-wise for him personally, I guarantee you he's way up over 500 with how efficient he's been today. Yeah, he's hitting 786 right now with 12 kills and 1 error for the Varior. So he's been absolutely awesome and lights out so far, and nobody on the Tigers has really been able to stop them. And I'm sure comparing the production, they've only got a couple kills, I think, out of Ejeckham. And then I'm not even sure they have any out of Condon Oldrift so far this game. So I think that's a huge swing in the matchup right now, because you've been able to get some kills, especially out of DeYoung, who's been having a relatively nice match for the Tigers. Donovan's always going to give you a bunch of kills, but it's been Vanier who's really been the difference maker, because you got Holland scoring his points, Johan David on the right side putting in a lot of work for the Varior as well, but Vanier and Collard in the middle have just been the deciding factor so far in this match.
And talking about, his hit percentage, obviously, and kills that he has had this game, he also added 7 blocks, which will make a huge difference down the line, especially when you are looking to extend your winning streak to 3 games. As we speak, DeYoung finds a kill down the middle on that left side of the net.
Yeah, DeYoung been very efficient so far for the Tigers, and Dowling's been putting him in good spots, getting a lot of one-on-one matchups for him, and he's been taking advantage.
Oh, Donovan gets it through. Now, Coots will set up David. Now, Potterlance will go to his hot hand once more, no hesitation, as Julian Vanier continues to add to his killing tally this match. His hit percentage is up to .800 with 13 kills, 1 error.
The new middle in here for the Varior. They're giving Collard a little bit of a break, and they're bringing in Sasha Labe.
And as we speak of Julian Vanier's perfect game, he finds a way to put the ball into the net for a service error. Not sure if that would matter much for everything that he has done this game so far. Condon Aldriv gets up. Coots will dig it up. And now to the next middle, Potterlance will go as number 14, Sasha Labe, finds his first kill of the game on the very first touch.
Something about that middle connection with Portalance and them, it just seems to be working. So I think any chance he can get, he's going to keep going to it until the Tigers show they have an answer.
Now Portalance again at the line. The jack of all trades for this squad. Gets it right into the net as we speak. But talking about someone who's had an impact, 3 service aces, a hit percentage of 1,000, 29 assists, which very well explained with all these kills down the middle for that squad. And De Jong will go on out with that serve as it's nearing the end of this third set. Dowling finds De Jong off the blockers once more. The one-on-one matchup has been paying off, but that's been the story of the game.
Yeah,
one-on-one, the Tigers doing well.
And then
2 or more, not so much.
As soon as Vanier Collard comes to close the block, things change quite a bit. So that'll be a huge talking point, I know, going into tomorrow with Dan Oda and Quentin Dowling. They're going to work together here, see if they can really take advantage of their favorable matchups going into tomorrow and build on what they've been able to see today.
Now Dowling to De Jong once more. They keep it alive. Coots to Partalands, and Partalands down the middle once again, and Labbé gets his second kill of the game, catches the Tigers loose as 2 players on the ground, and you know there's no room for the Tigers to recover to that one as it's 18-12 and a wet spot on the floor.
Yeah, player safety is always key here at the Dalplex. Things can get a little bit warm, guys can get a little bit sweaty, so when they go down to the ground, it usually leads to a little bit of a slippery surface. So everyone's happy to take the time, wipe that floor, and make sure things are all good for all players on the court.
Now Labbé will get his chance at the serve. Tran is digging it. Now De Jong will go off the blockers, and this time around, both Moisson and Vanier are there to meet him. And timeout once more called there by Coach Oda as things continue to go in the way of Verreor here. They look to close out this set and the game with a sweep.
They've looked good so far. As we've talked about, the middles are firing, man. It's really hard to stop a team who, in combination, I think their lowest percentage hitting middle so far is Collard, sitting at about 500% efficiency. Or sorry, not 500, but 500 efficiency. So half the time he's hitting, he's getting a kill. Vanier, after his couple kills, he's going to be up right at around 800. And then Sacha Labbé is 2 for 2 so far in this game. So they're getting a ton of production out of the middles. Their outsides are doing what they need to do, being efficient. Portalands running a very balanced offense, playing really well for the Verreor. And they're reaping the rewards here as they're up 19-12 going into the end of this third set.
And Tigers certainly are not done. Although being down 7, playing from behind is not the best situation. But there's ways to cut it down, and there's ways to do it. And the only way to do it is to keep playing, being resilient. Let's see if Tigers can bounce back and get some points off that lead. As Labbé once again will serve. Tran will find it. Now Donovan one-on-one off the blocker. And the point will go for the Tigers as linesman noticed the touch on the attack. Sidhu gets it over. Coots. Now Partalands. And they looked for Vanier, but that was tipped by Hollins. And now Dowling will set up Condon Aldriff. And once again, this time down the middle, Coots gets the tip, but Moisson cannot get to it in time as it flies into the bleachers.
Yeah, nice adjustment there from Dowling, going back-to-back runs to Condon Aldriff, especially with Donovan there on the outside. They're really going to be expecting that left side set. Great decision from Dowling to go back-to-back middles and results in a kill for the Tigers.
Now, Partalands. This time, David is blocked, met by Condon Aldriff. to get the point, and now cutting this lead to 4.
A little bit of a momentum swing. You got to know here, especially after a block on David, any good pass here probably going to Vanier, so you have to be ready for it.
Perfect swing by Donovan. The ball up high. He did not hesitate. A flash of Vanier we've seen from Donovan, as that's what Vanier has been doing to the Tigers so far this game. Sidhu. Now Potterlands going to David. Finds the open space, but Donovan is there, and, Dowling. Now Potterlands will go to Morrison, and very unfortunate there as Cross sees the ball coming but goes slightly under him.
Yeah, wasn't sure if Dowling put up a full block there, but it kind of slips right in that seam, and Cross wasn't expecting that to be open because he thought the block would be there. So a little bit unfortunate there for the Tigers, and results in a point for the Verrier.
Now David gets it over, but De Jong is there to receive it, and this time Donovan makes no mistake, finds empty space in the back for a kill.
Yeah, there's a nice big seam there on the block. Donovan sees it, rips the ball right through, and a nice kill there for the Tigers. Bringing us within 3 here, and potentially looking to hopefully extend things into a 4 set with a win here.
Wow, Coots. Potterlands goes to Vanier, and Dowling was there, but nobody was there to help him out.
Yeah, even when he's not full swing, because he's got that power tip from up there, he's at such a high angle, pushes that down. Dowling's able to get a nice touch on it, but unfortunately not enough for a second contact to be made and to extend the rally.
And Reves checks in for Hollins as Moisson gets into the net and gives some room for the Tigers to make this late comeback in the third. Down 3 with Donovan at the service line. Donovan gets it, the service ace, much needed to the Tigers, cutting this lead to 2, 19-21.
Now a 2-point game here. Little interesting strategy here for the Verrier. They're actually leaving Vanier in. Actually, no, he's in the front row. My apologies. He's just back there making sure the spot gets cleaned. Yeah, so it's a favorable rotation right now for the Tigers. They have Portalance in the front row. You pretty much know here, any good pass is either going to go D-ball to Johan David, or a perfect pass will be going in the middle to Julien Vanier. So the Tigers really need to key up on that and make sure they have a strong block set.
Donovan with a strong serve found by Coots, and now David goes off the blockers, finding the space, no hesitation, gets it off the right angle for an easy point.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. You kind of knew with that ball being off the net, they weren't going to go outside to Revest, who just subbed in. So you kind of want to look for Conan Oldrive to maybe make a little bit more of an earlier move there towards that right side set, because he got there, his hands were a little late, and it resulted in a, obviously, point for the Verrier, but a very nice bounce back point from Conan Oldrive with a big kill out of the middle to keep Tigers within 2.
Dowling and Conan Oldrive given the taste of Verrier's medicine, going to the middle and getting that kill. Now Conan Oldrive, and off the blockers, Coots now going to David. That will go off the blockers and out, but looks like the Tigers had that miscommunication error where no one was going into the spot to get that ball.
I think there may have been a net violation too there from the Tigers, so not their greatest point. They really need this one here if they want to have any chance of extending us further.
Now Dowling goes to De Jong. He makes no mistake and finds breathing room, keeping the Tigers alive. 21-23 as he's going to that service line for the Tigers. Gets it over. Now Portalance finds David. That was dug up by Donovan. Dowling will go to De Jong. He will go off the blockers and finds breathing room, hitting it off Zachary Moisen. cutting into just one late in the third.
So you saw Portland's go to Johan David there. Got a little bit of a favorable matchup with Dowling on the block. I would be very surprised if he doesn't go back to him here if he gets a good pass.
Now Portland's goes down the middle, and now Donovan will force it over. Mosen, Portland's again to the middle, and makes the Tigers pay as DeYoung is on the floor trying to dig it out, but not quite there. And it's a set and match point in favor of Verrier as Guillaume Rivest has an opportunity to close it out here at Dowplex. Gets it right over. That was dug up by Cross. DeYoung blocked, and Tran is there, but this will be it. A clean sweep for Verrier as they close out the set 25-22. And another loss for the Tigers as they're still hunting for that win.
Yeah, tough one for them. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to go back and look at. I'm sure Dan Odo will be up all night looking at the film because there's definitely some things they can exploit going into tomorrow's game. But tough loss for them. Obviously losing to a very, very good Verrier team. They just got to go back, hit the drawing board, watch the film back, see what they can take, what they need to get better at, and then come back in tomorrow with a good mindset.
And like we said, the final score today, Dalhousie Tigers 0 and Sherbrooke Verrier 3. Don't forget, both teams will face each other once more here in Dowplex, Halifax, Nova Scotia, the home of Dalhousie Tigers, for the second time in this RSEQ matchup between the two. The game will start at 12:30 p.m. You've been watching RSEQ Volleyball. Has been Ilya Kurbanov alongside me, Craig Third-Kilton, saying goodbye from Dowplex. Have a wonderful night.